So witnessing is obviously a crucial element of a path to enlightenment. But, being aware and witnessing yourself, it's just beneficial anyways, right?
It is the crucial element in life to function better, to be in ease in anything we do or participating. Without witnessing, all we end up is, in a struggle, in a suffering.
Right.
But once we bring the witness quality in oneself, then things start to go smooth.
Right.
So it's the crucial element in life.
Very. All right. Okay. So I'm Richard,
Hi, I'm Lawrence.
and we're here again to talk about enlightenment.
Yeah.
And we've got a few things to chat about today.
Yes, that's right.
So we were talking about where we would take this. We've had many other topics and how to achieve enlightenment and what the process is, and it's quite varied. And today we wanted to talk about a couple of things, but the first thing we'll ask about is, we mentioned it before, what is witness?
Okay, the witness means simply, turning the awareness back to ourselves, or turning the awareness to the things that we do. So there are two kinds of witness: witnessing ourselves or witnessing the world we live in. Basically, one is witnessing ourselves, and one is witnessing the world.
Right.
But enlightenment has nothing to do with witnessing outside, because enlightenment is about dissolving the mind.
Right.
Dissolving the mind is dissolving the ego, and for that we have to witness ourselves.
Yeah.
And whatever rises in us, and that itself is the ego self rising in us, and to dissolve and to completely eliminate that, the first step will be witnessing ourselves.
But this is the hard part. We spoke many times before about the process of enlightenment and recognizing patterns, and this is crucial to doing all of that. So when we're witnessing, we might be very challenged, because if enlightenment is about letting go, we're going to witness things and we're not going to want to let go of some things, right?
Definitely. Everybody is, have that deep ingrained preference in the people, and especially if those things are life supporting,
Yeah.
to function better, in the world, then those things will be very hard to dissolve.
Right.
And if you are interested in enlightenment, and we see the contradiction, and that kind of throws people off not to be in the journey,
Right.
The thing starts to boil up in the person, the fear starts to emerge in the person, and that is a good thing. Actually, we have to we have to experience the fear, and let me work on the fear, and that makes the journey, that's the start of the journey.
Right.
We have to trigger ourselves, we gotta be triggered by the fear, and that will be the good start, I would say. Otherwise, we are already comfortable. When we are comfortable, we're not looking. And not looking is not the way to figure out who we are, and so I said fear is a good start if you look into the fear,
Right.
But also there is a tendency that, there are a lot of activities in the world going on. I want to overcome the fear, and people train themselves in the outside world, or do something always challenging is the way to overcome the fear. That's the perception of the world,
Right.
Jumping
Sure.
off the plane is the way to overcome the fear,
Yeah.
But anything we invite or condition ourselves outside of us in the body, it's the conditioning, for example, if you want to overcome the fear of the heights, for example, you jump off the plane, first one will be very dreadful, because you're jumping off the plane, you want to overcome your fear, it will be very dreadful. And when you jump, when it touches the land, you go like, thank God, I'm still alive.
Right. Right. Yeah, sure.
But now, if you do the second jump, you already have experience from the first jump that, you are more grounded than the first one. then you do third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. Now your body's conditioned. Now you know what's going to happen. But still, there's a little bit uncertainty that if a parachute don't open, then you're going to hit the floor, and that's the end of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
But your body has condition of that jump, and then when you condition further, then there's from that experience what happens, the idea comes in that I'm not afraid of the height.
Right.
So you have overcome the certain level of fear. That simply is actually the ego boosting journey, and enlightenment is not about jumping.
It's not about overcoming. It's
overcoming the fear on the
letting
body
go.
on the bodily level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enlightenment is about dissolving, everything. And dissolving everything means, if you like to have fun jumping off the plane, you have to also step back from that journey as well.
Right.
Because you got to go back and figure out why you want to jump, why you're so excited about the jump, why you are, why that jumping makes you, trigger in a way that so much excitement comes in you. So you have to look into that, where this idea coming from, and why I like to do these things, and you have to step back and look into the thing, and basically it boils down to not having enough fun.
I suppose.
Yes,
so.
there is a fear of overcoming, but fear of overcoming the fear, overcoming the fear itself is the again coming from not having enough fun.
So before we started this conversation, we were chatting a little bit about this topic, and you mentioned relative versus absolute witness. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Basically, what I mean is, when we are witnessing outside and try to integrate with the world we live in, with the people or in nature, that is the relative witnessing. Focus outside of us. I just gave a name like relative witnessing. And even when we were watching ourselves, it's a relative. Until we hit the target, that means until we see who we are, the whole process is a relative, and when you find who you are, then we see who we are, and that's the absolute state of who we are, and we recognize, we are the witness.
Right.
So that's the two different things.
Okay.
But here again, watching ourselves, watching things outside of us is still witnessing. It's still witness. The witness quality in us is watching the world, and the witness quality in us watching ourselves. But there's only one witness watching outside or inside.
Okay. So when we're witnessing, we're thinking, are we meditating?
People can say that, you can say meditating outside and seeing the pattern that is hidden or exposed, because there are levels of pattern in the world, our eyes can see it, awareness can catch it, we can catch the level of the pattern, easily catch it, and then when you focus more, then you see the pattern that is not there before, and then you focus more, and then you start to see, there's layers upon layers upon layers,
Right.
Then you see the subtlest pattern outside of you. And same thing when we are witnessing ourselves. When we just witness, you can see the ideas bubbling, that's a gross level of witnessing. And then when you start to do the work on dismantling the mind or dissolving the mind through the witness by stepping back, you can see the subtle level of ideas upon ideas going backward, So you can see that. And that's the pattern world of the mind, and outside is the pattern world of the nature,
So I'm going to ask another follow-up about meditation, because a lot of people really like it. They think it's really useful. A lot of gurus push it. It's available in a lot of yoga studios and practices. meditation in itself, it's telling you to empty your mind. So when we're reached enlightenment, we've emptied the mind. Can you actually just use meditation to be enlightened?
Depends on what kind of meditation.
Like if you're sitting there in a yoga class or in some guru and he says, okay, now empty your mind, are you really witnessing if you're emptying your mind? Or do you need to actually witness first to empty your mind?
There you go. You have to witness yourself to empty the mind. You cannot empty the mind means dissolving the mind. So you see you understand, you see the nature of the mind, how mind works, and you also see you are not the mind. You are the one that watches the mind.
Right.
Then when you completely see that, then you become the awareness rather than the mind. In that sense, yeah, you can empty the mind. But in in the world, empty the mind, it's very vague. It's confusing. The world loves to do a controlled meditation, and controlled meditation is about you're focusing on something, so you are not distracted by too many layers. And even you're distracted in the beginning, being focused on one thing, all the surroundings start to dissolve itself, and your body, your mind, your awareness is just anchored in one place. So it's the way to move from complexity to the simplicity and being more focused. And the worldly meditation gives you that, being more focused. But after that your focus quality, once you're being focused, now you have to use that to understand the mind and also dismantle the mind.
So it's a way to actually learn how to use your mind to witness, to
not using the mind, but you once you are focused, because you are always awareness, you use the awareness to dissolve everything.
Right.
But before we dissolve anything, our awareness has to be more stable,
Right.
because because of the experience that we have gone through in life, that kind of triggers us to run everywhere, reach everywhere, and hoard everything in our life,
Right.
So
Right.
that makes us go out. That makes our awareness, the witness quality in us, to fly everywhere. Because that witness in us, the witness quality in us also has this body. So the body has experience colored in such a way that now it is conditioned and wants that condition again and again. So because of the conditioning, we break, we go everywhere. So because of that, because of moving everywhere, the controlled meditation is good to kind of can dissolve some level of conditioning in us. And that's why any meditation can be helpful to anchor ourselves. But that's the purpose of the meditation. That's
Right.
the way to anchor ourselves. But once we are more focused, anchored in ourselves, what's the next step? Now we need to witness ourselves.
Right.
Why my mind bothers me all the time? Why there's fear in me? And because of the fear, why do I act in a certain way? In a way that I control things, I run away from things, I manipulate things. All these things are there. Why do I do this? Now let's look in. Let's figure out.
Right.
Now we need that focused self to see why the mind bothers me.
Yes.
And that's
key.
the way to now see the mind, and how that mind come on the surface. We can go back and figure out. So witness is the most important to achieve, to see who we are, and also very important to in line with the natures to bring ease in our lives.
Right.
So it's the crucial element. We are always that. However, our conditioning makes us.
So anyone that tells us that we will become enlightened through meditation is not really being entirely accurate. You may be, depending on the process that you use. If you
It depends on whether
it's very medically healthy. I mean, there's been a lot of studies that meditation actually lowers people's blood pressure and heart rate, and they can see that certain parts of the brain are lit up when people are meditating.
But those are correct. but it doesn't eliminate the fear.
Yeah.
And we need to eliminate the fear, and that's the way to wake up
So
from
meditation for meditation's sake, to relax and to, do that, to clear your mind, that's all healthy. But
It's-
that's not enlightenment.
it's healthy to settle, but also while you are building up that quality, that itself brings a lot of ego boost in the person,
Yeah.
and that is the way to kind of go off the track.
Right.
And we need to be aware of those scenarios, because yes, meditation is good, controlling yourself enough is good, but it only works to a certain extent. If you have been controlling, if you do controlling your body, controlling your mind with the meditation, right? Just ask yourself, is your fear has eliminated completely? There's no more fear, no more agitation in your life, and then you will know exactly whether the meditation is helpful or not. It's worth it all the way towards to see who we are.
Right.
And if we are reflecting in our own lives, then we know how much the meditation works. And reflecting is a way to come back to the track again and go further to figure out who we are.
Okay.
So again, it's good to have a meditation in life. It's helpful, tools to create that better well-being.
Right. Yeah.
That is good, but it only works to a certain extent. It doesn't go all the way.
Got it.
So there is a witness quality in us. We have to use that to dismantle ourselves completely, thoroughly, and that's the way to wake up from the dream, wake up from the fear, wake up from the illusion that we have in us right now.
Okay.
So
Cool. One other thing I wanted to ask you about, I met you through yoga. Actually, you were one of my yoga instructors. And
yeah, right.
yeah, it goes back a ways actually, but that's good. I love yoga; it's wonderful. Is yoga? Many people talk about yoga like you become enlightened if you go to yoga. Obviously, I don't think that's exactly accurate, but is it? How does yoga fit into this process, or does it at all?
Same like a meditation, So you can utilize any meditation technique to bring self-awareness. Yoga also works to invite self-awareness.
Well, it does.
And that's what yoga gives us. I can tell from my own experience when I started to do yoga, when I started to become more aware of myself, I started to see, just when I was doing the exercise, the yoga practice, I put one principle in the body and I practice. Then I can see, that's the very gross level of the practice. But once I stay with that principle for long enough, what happens is I start to see the deeper pattern in the body, how the body moves, how the body integrates.
Yeah.
Oh, I start to see those things,
Yeah.
And that is me being self-aware in the movement.
And it's almost in a physical sense. For me, with yoga, I could feel my body, of course, but it's kind of a whole thing. When I'm told to breathe into my back or into a certain spot, and then I can learn to isolate that, and I can actually feel that spot.
Yes.
I've trained my mind to understand different points in my body.
What's
That's
happening?
good.
What's
That's
happening?
awareness.
Yeah, basically you are being aware of yourself. Now you're forgetting the world, because
Uh-huh.
yoga is always about you. You're turning
Yeah.
the awareness
Yeah,
back to
sure,
yourself,
sure.
or you're witnessing yourself. Once you witness yourself, and once you start to put the principle in the body, now in the beginning you might not be able to isolate, because
No.
the focus,
Sure.
the isolation is tough. But once you practice, now you can isolate. Now you can see the difference from that work. Now you start to be more aware of the movement, and it becomes more fun as well.
Yeah, it does,
know?
because you can actually control it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, whatever happening and whatever you're catching is basically you being self-aware,
Yes.
and that itself is the result of yoga. Because yoga is about turning the awareness back to ourselves and doing the work with the witness quality in us, watching ourselves. And then when we start to do that, that that itself, witnessing ourselves in the body is the first level, of the inward journey, witnessing ourselves in the superficial level.
Right.
And once we can sustain the awareness in ourselves, not distracted by the world, that builds up a lot of, that anchor quality in us. Now, once we understand the body, somehow, there is inspiration in the person. Oh, let me do the same thing into my mind now, And then you can already sustain your awareness in yourself in the body, and now that build-up conditioning already builds up, puts you already in that state that now you can witness the mind.
Right.
So the bar has already raised up to witness your mind. Now, the next step is, where is what is mind? Where this mind, this idea comes from, and going back on the mind, on the idea, is the way to figure out who we are. Again, definitely, yoga is super good. I would say super good in the world. It helps to create a healthy environment in a healthy individual to some level, and that's what yoga gives us, and it is also a good start to become self-aware. And without being self-aware, there is no way we can figure out the truth. We have to be self-aware.
Yeah.
And body is the start in the yoga, then comes in the mind, and then when we dissolve the mind, then what is left is always you.
Right.
The witness nature in you, and that is, waking up from the false. Because now, and that is what you said, empty the mind. Once you become who you are, the mind dissolves itself.
So yoga teaches you how to isolate. Meditation teaches you how to dissolve or focus on one thing and clear your mind.
Yoga doesn't depends on the teachers, right?
Yeah.
And depends on the understanding in the individual. Yoga is about being self-aware. That will be given. But again, to become a self-aware, we have to turn the awareness to ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
You cannot do the yoga by being focused outside to the surrounding with of the people and things happening.
Right.
That is outside focus. Now you have disconnected yourself. You're doing the work, but you're not with yourself.
Yeah.
So that is still a division in the person. So you have to be aware and do the work, and that builds up the whole, good foundation to eventually dissolve the mind.
Right. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. So I think we've kind of discussed the power of witness on the path to enlightenment.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents on that.
I think it's at least 5 cents. Maybe 10. What do you think?
Witnessing is the most important, the crucial elements in the outer journey or the inward journey. Without that, our life is already in a struggle realm. We will keep digging in the same place of struggle until we witness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're done. Thank you very much. I appreciate this as always.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. It's good stuff.
And I hope you enjoy it and are actually getting something out of this. It's a simple process, but it's complicated to get your mind around. But once you get it, it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Just need to start wherever you are.
Yeah.
And witnessing is the way to overcome any struggle in life.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Yeah.
See you again. Cheers.
That was good.
Yeah, good conversation. It's long. You can cut it or run the whole